I'm Ole Brøgger, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I just got my hands on a new 3D printer. I have owned a 3D printer for a couple of years now. It's a FDM printer which uses PLA filament, and it has served me quite well. But the resolution for fine prints isn't that good. I got my hands on an Elegoo Mars Pro. It's a resin printer, and I wanted to share my first impressions on how it works. So let's get started. Well, let's open this package and see what's inside. Packaging looks really good. It's quite solid and foam protects the printer. And here is the printer. I really like how they package this stuff. It looks pretty well protected. There's a manual on the top. It looks pretty simple, and I think we're going to look into that later. Oh, and here we have a toolkit. I'm actually looking forward to see what's inside this box. And now for the printer. I think they wrapped it up pretty good, and I think I'm going to leave the wrap on just for protection while I set it up. Oh, this feels heavy. Isn't that just foam? Oh, there's something inside here. Ah, it's the build plate. That was why it was so heavy. Okay, let's see what's inside the toolkit. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in here. Well, first we have a spatula. I think it's for scraping the build plate. And then we have a power cord, a USB stick. Wonder what's inside that one. And some rubber gloves and a measuring cup. Extra screws and some Allen wrenches, I guess, 2 different sizes. It's a screwdriver. It looks like it has an Allen bit on it. Looking forward to what's that for. And then there's a plastic spatula. And what is this weird thing? Let's figure that out later. Look at this. It's a bit weird. Okay. Let's see what it does. Maybe the manual will tell us. And the power supply. It looks pretty standard. What's the specs on it? Oh, it's 12 volts. Yeah, it looks pretty standard. 6 amps. And what's this? Oh, it's a plier. Oh, that's nice. They're delivering a plier with this thing. It's probably for cutting off support material on the prints. That's nice. It looks pretty good. And then we have some filters. That's pretty nice. Facial mask. Is it really that toxic to work with the resin printer. And then there's oh, it's a gift certificate. That's pretty neat. Ah, it's for my mini factory. It's a 10% discount code. Thank you for that. And a rubber gasket. Oh, I guess this is for the lid. It's for making a tight seal so the toxic fumes won't escape. So you wrap it around here. That's pretty nice. And then there's this extra stuff. It doesn't come with the printer, but it's very nice to have. This box contains a funnel. It's a silicone funnel and reusable filter when you're pouring back the resin in the boxes. It's like the filter that was in the toolkit, but yeah, I guess you can only use them once. So just put this filter inside this silicone funnel. And then I bought some resin, a water washable one and a standard polymer resin. The standard polymer resin is the one I'm going to use for my first print. Okay, let's power up this printer. Good logo. Done. That was fast. Okay, now we have to mount the build plate and hand tighten the top screw. Now we have to loosen up the build plate. There's 2 screws on the top and I'm going to use the Allen wrench from the toolkit to do that. Just looked around in the menu and now I found out that the manual says something weird. It says move Z-axis to 0. But when I press that button, it says I have to move set to home. And maybe it's under the manual setting. Yeah, here it is. The manual says that you have to put a piece of paper between the build plate and the LCD display. So we are going to do that. And after that, you have to align the build plate to the LCD display and tighten up the screws with an Allen key. Now I can press the move Z-axis to 0. Let's pull out the piece of paper and let's move on to our first print. I will set up the printer in my workshop because it has better ventilation than my office. And then I don't have the toxic fumes around me when I sit at my computer desk. Now let's install the resin tank. Now we have to pour up the resin, but first I will have to wear a mask and some rubber gloves. I didn't use the one that came in the box. I had some lying around in my shop, so I was going to use them. The fumes from the resin is a bit toxic, so it's not good for your lungs, and if you get it on your skin, you should wash it as fast as possible because you can get a rash or allergic reaction to it. This is the standard resin, and you should shake it up pretty good before pouring. There's a small label in the tank that says maximum, so you shouldn't pour above that because when the build plate is coming down onto the resin, it will spill all over the place. I have inserted the USB stick and browsing for a file called rook. And when I found it, it was just pressing play and the printer started. And then I put on the lid. Well, we just have to wait for about 3 hours and 20 minutes. Now the printing is done. And I just have to wear my gloves again. And let's see what's inside. Wow. Wow. it looks pretty good. I found out what this piece was for. And you loosen the screw in the top and pull off the print plate. You can put on this piece of plastic and put the build plate in a 45-degree angles so the resin will drip off. I put it there for about 20 minutes and then it was time to pull off the prints. I prepared a couple of containers, one with isopropyl alcohol and one with pure tap water. When you are working with a resin printer, it is a bit messy, but when you see the result, I think it's worth it. I used the metal spatula from the Toolkit to pry off the plate, and one of them actually just fell off. I would recommend you to get a ton of paper towels because you're going to need it. I used a soft brush to get the excess resin off the print, and then it was time for a bath in pure water. The prints are a bit soft when they come off the plate, and for hardening them I got this UV chamber. And here you can see the result. Well, it turned out pretty good. I think this is quite impressive. Those details, that's amazing. For detail print, I would always recommend using a resin printer. I don't regret getting this at all. It's wow, I think it's pretty. But let's see what's on this USB stick. Now I inserted the USB stick. Here we have some folders and a manual. The same one was printed on paper. This folder we have the Rook demo print. We have some minifigures offered by my manufactory, and I actually tried to print one of them. Then we have the most important thing, the slicing software. It is the Shitu box, which can be installed on Windows, Mac and Linux. I have a Windows machine here, so I would use Windows 64-bit system. Of course, it's recommended to go online and download the newest version. About the Shitu box, I must say it's the most easiest slicing tool I have ever worked with. Here's a new project and I can open an STL file. Here we have a Bowman. I won't give a full tour of the program, but I'll just show you some quick features and how to get started with the first print. We can rotate the minifigure and laying it down flat on the bed. Here you can add some supports. I just have quite a successful prints with the auto support, but if you want, you can just add another support. If you wanted to remove some, you can remove them. But the more support, the merrier, I think. This guy, I would probably also give him one up here by his head, like that. Then you can go to slice. And we're all done. You have some statistics here, you have some settings here for the print, and then you can save and put it onto your USB stick and you're off printing. Well, this wasn't going to be a review of this specific printer. It was actually my first impression of how to work with a resin printer, and I'm amazed of how good the results are of this Elegoo Mars Pro. I know there's probably a lot of other printers out on the market that's actually as good as this or even better, but the details on these prints is amazing. You can also print other stuff like these brackets I've printed for a tablet to mount it on the wall. I finished them up and painted them. They are actually quite durable, and I think I'm going to wrap up this video now. I will say you should try out this printer, but be aware, it's a bit messy, but the result, I think it's worth it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time with some future projects made on this printer. Bye.